So, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know what the coronavirus is and the huge impact it's having on our society in the United States recently. A lot of people are afraid just to go into a doctor's office because they don't want to take the chance of getting sick and possibly contracting the virus. So, more and more MDs are jumping on this board called Telehealth. Basically, to do a consult, some MDs will prescribe medication over it, and this has actually been around not because of the coronavirus, although it's getting more attention afterwards. It's been around for a little while, though it's still relatively new. And so many practitioners are jumping on the bandwagon because it's a convenience for our patients, and our patients get a lot of answers in a timely manner in the convenience of their own home. Physical therapy is also an option over telehealth, which a lot of people don't realize. So, today we're talking about what telehealth is and how, if you're looking for physical therapy services, it might be appropriate for you. Welcome to Fearless Fridays, where we are talking about everything health and wellness related. My name is Dr. Melissa Chofi. I am the owner of New Quest Physical Therapy, a mobile practice serving areas in New York and Connecticut. There is so much misinformation out there in regard to the medical field, and with our healthcare model increasingly putting profits over patients, you as consumers need to be given all the tools you need to demand what you deserve, ensuring a strong, resilient, fulfilled, and fearless life. My goal is to empower all of you to stand up for yourselves and be able to call bullshit in a realm that is confusing as fuck. Let's get into the episode. So, what exactly is telehealth? I say telehealth, and people look at me like, what the hell are you talking about, Mel? I have no idea what you're saying to me. Telehealth is a virtual visit. So, it's a consultation with your provider and you over the computer. Face to face, you're talking just like I'm talking with you now, and it's done in the convenience of your own home or at your job, wherever you want to go. So it's a relatively new concept. Like I said before, a lot of providers are jumping on board. My boyfriend actually gets his contacts through a consultation with an optometrist via telehealth, and he doesn't have to go anywhere, and he gets his contacts shipped to him. Part of my practice involves using telehealth to work with my patients. So I'm licensed in 2 states. New York is one of them, and New York is a very, very big state. So there's no way I'm going to drive up to upstate New York to treat somebody when they might be appropriate for telehealth, and then they can consult me over the computer and we can perform our treatments that way. It's really awesome. And a lot of people don't realize that physical therapy can be accomplished via these virtual visits. So a lot of people will be like, but how can that work for PT if you're not putting your hands on people? Don't you have to fix them? No, I'm not fixing anybody. So if you watched my video from 2 weeks ago, the difference between chiropractic and physical therapy, we are very involved in the active process. Our patients need to be active in order to see results. Passive modalities like having our hands on them, stretching them, joint mobilization, soft tissue, it's not always indicated, first of all. And my second point is that patients need and people need to graduate from that to be able to accommodate their symptoms and perform exercises to be able to accommodate what they're dealing with on the daily. So this involves many, many active treatments over passive. And this is when telehealth can be really appropriate for a patient. The predominant fallacy with physical therapy is that we torture people like physically with our hands on stuff. But the actual thing behind physical therapy is that we use movement as a way to prescribe what you need in order to get over whatever's ailing you now and prevent it from happening again in the future. So for me, my hands-on treatment, I do incorporate hands-on treatment if it's needed. It's not the predominant time spent during a visit with my client. Most of the time, my client's doing stuff and I'm instructing them on doing that stuff. So if I see something wrong, I can direct them verbally on where to go. And that is the same idea in a telehealth visit. So a telehealth visit would be consultation like this, speaking to each other, giving updates, and then just instruction, watching you move, instructing you on how to move. So an appropriate client would be somebody who can take my verbal instruction and be able to execute it without me putting my hands on them. And as far as, so there's a concept called motor learning, which is, we talk about brain roadmaps a lot on these YouTube videos, right? So your brain and your nervous system need to learn that roadmap to move in the most efficient way possible for you to overcome an injury or an ailment and prevent that ailment from happening. And that's what part of physical therapy does as a service for our clients. So what happens is, if I don't have my hands on you and I'm giving you verbal instruction and you're able to be like, okay, she's saying this and now I have to do this, and you can visualize it and you have that brain body connection, the effectiveness of that treatment is probably a lot more than me having my hands on you and making you move in those ways to learn the pattern. If your brain can figure out that pattern and execute what I'm telling you to do, the likelihood of you creating that new roadmap because you were involved in it is way greater than me just moving you through the motion and you eventually learning it. So this is a great way that telehealth can improve outcomes for patients who are appropriate. Another benefit of telehealth is the obvious time saving that it does. So you don't have to drive to me, I don't have to drive to you. You could do it in the comfort of your own home. I get to see your environment. I get to see where you thrive. It's hopefully quiet, so you don't have as much stress as you would coming into a busy clinic. We don't have to fight for space. You don't have to worry about being overheard or listening to Susie Q's story 2 tables down. And your therapist, they may, so I'm not going to speak for everybody when I say this, but for myself, my telehealth platform allows me to keep communication open with my clients. So in addition to visit our virtual visits through this platform, they also have ability to text message me, and I can post all of their billing and their exercises and everything in this one spot. So we can communicate during off hours or outside of appointment times, between appointments. It's really, really convenient. So it gives that kind of like a concierge feel, if you want to call it that, as compared to traditional practice. And as I said before, telehealth may not be appropriate for everyone. So if you need that soft tissue work, those joint mobilizations, the hands-on stuff, your telehealth therapist can then refer you, because they got your whole history, they got your whole reason behind you coming to them. They can refer you to somebody who is hands-on, or if they're close to you and they have that capacity to treat you, they can come to you and then treat you. So it's a really great way to kind of assess what is best for you without having to go into a traditional brick and mortar clinic to figure that out. So now we are coming to my buyer beware caveat as telehealth gets more and more popular. So people want convenience. I want convenience. I know you guys want convenience. So what's happening is these telehealth services are coming out, and these exercises and these programs are not being run by trained professionals. They're being run by what's called a coach or a health coach. Coach is not a protected term. There's no standardization behind it. Your cat can be a coach. Actually, I don't know. Maybe he can't. But anybody can be a coach. That's my whole point. You don't need formal education. You don't need to know what you're talking about. You just need to be able to sell. So be very mindful of who is conducting your telehealth sessions. Unfortunately, the term physical therapist and PT are protected, but they're not enforced, whatever the fuck that means. I think it's insanity. But anybody could say they offer physiotherapy services or physical therapy services, and you're not actually working with a physical therapist. So you want to be sure, especially if there's some ailment that's going on that's causing you pain, you want to be sure you are working with a licensed physical therapist. This is an enforced term. The person you're working with has to be a physical therapist if they're being called a licensed physical therapist. That's who you want to be working with. To double check this, you can Google for your state physical therapy licensure lookup, and you need the first and last name of the provider, and they will tell you what the license number is. It's a shame that it's come down to this, but you don't want to be wasting your time or your money dealing with somebody who has no fucking idea what you're going through, what your ailments are. They don't know what a proper moving screen looks like. They don't know what exercises to give you, and they're just spitting off cookie cutter bullshit. You wasted too much time already dealing with this. You don't want to waste any more. So make sure you're working with an actual professional who is well versed in what is going on with your body, how to assess it, and how to treat you via the computer. So especially as we get busier, our lives are being pulled in every which way. We might not always have the time to get help. So this is a great way to get that help from a physical therapist if that's what you're looking for. Like I said, not everybody is appropriate for manual work. You don't always need hands-on treatment. So if you are looking for physical therapy services and to get out of pain, you might want to consider a telehealth consult and see what your provider thinks. So a lot of hospitals are jumping on the bandwagon. There's a big hospital in Manhattan that is employing physical therapy related telehealth for their post-surgical patients, which is really awesome. And it's just really, really exciting to see this as an up-and-coming movement, especially in physical therapy, because it spreads the word of how important we are and how much we're needed and how we can be a part of everyone's lives in the most convenient way and efficient way possible. So just keep educating yourselves, keep asking questions, be an active participant in your health, demand the life you deserve, and most importantly, stay fearless. And we'll see you next week.